this hunter-gatherer mindset. You know how these hunter-gatherers would really be in a deep connection, with nature, with their surroundings, and all of this, these rituals, these things, they grew out of this. So it's in that sense also, a reconnection back towards that, towards our own nature as the beings that we are. And in that sense, when we, like when we think about that, it's these rituals, like connect us very much to that. And it's also about creating these spaces, where we can do these rituals.
Yeah, bro.
Same boat. We're talking about nature, and the fucking Wi-Fi decides to do shit.
Wi-Fi is like, oh no, I feel threatened. Better shut this down.
Oh my god. But yeah, it's streaming again. I don't know like what any of you were saying. I don't know if any of what I said even made it into the stream. We just got some viewers, and then this was like bloop, there we go. Fuck you.
So wait, are we streaming now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh man. And it was starting to get into the cultural part.
That's why the most trustworthy network is the Mycelium network.
Yeah. It made me think about like how someone had said like that humans are the AI of the mineral kingdom.
That's a really interesting thought.
That is a very interesting thought. What were you guys actually saying? Like before everything died and cut out? I don't know.
That it would be.
We're talking about partying is better out in the open with everybody than in a dark, dirty club. That's the last thing I remember saying.
Yeah.
And about special places outside of human commune into the out world, where you celebrate nature itself, like special places like it's not even a temple because it doesn't have walls. It's just that people used to gather outside in nature to celebrate nature itself, a place to connect back to the archetypes, to their gods. And I think that was done many times in the past. And Anastasios gave the example of, I don't know how to pronounce these ones, like shrines in Germanic paganism, where they do it for religious rituals, special occasions.
By the way, this with the sacred groves is very interesting. Yeah. And that there are certain places in forest, like a hill that doesn't grow, for example, trees. And there are trees around that are big. These were considered signs that there is some holiness to this place. And you couldn't even commit crimes in places like this. It was considered sacred.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a good lens to have. Spirituality and seeing things as sacred. And living things especially, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's a community, but like, I mean, I guess also like the mineral kingdom and water and air, the atmosphere. Space.
I was thinking
Yeah.
about the middle ground of what Nerium was saying. What will be the middle ground between a futuristic space traveling society and a nature balance thrive society? And I was thinking, why not futuristic hippies? But then again, without the drugs, without the drugs, you know.
Yeah.
Only
Jedi.
natural remedies.
Yeah, sounds about right.
It reminds me of the Jedi a lot in Star Wars.
Right? Right? You're connected to the source itself. So everywhere you go, the source go with you. The force will be with you. Yeah, there was something about that, right?
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, that's true. They were in touch with nature in the form of the Force.
Yeah.
Most people were not, and that's a shame. But the creatures that like lived in the forest, like the Wookiees and the Ewoks and stuff, they were in touch with the Force because they were surrounded by trees. And the way that the Jedi were connected to the Force on places like Coruscant, which was anti-nature, is just all buildings and skyscrapers like 5 miles high that go all the way to the bottom. It's just a mechanical land, nothing's alive except the people.
Yeah.
So that's where the Jedi drew their power from of the Force, is being around trillions of living beings, but not trees and animals and all that stuff. And if I could ask a Jedi, I would say, what's the difference between the city Force and the Force in Endor, or Kashyyyk or something, one of those forest worlds where it's all forest instead of all city. It's like there's these two inversions always at play with each other.
Depends how you use it.
And I guess it is kind of like, they don't exactly come out and say it, but it feels like it's good versus evil, the city versus the forest. The Empire with all their city technology, and then the rebels working with these little teddy bears in the woods. It's like these two extremes coming together in battle.
You see this a bit even in the Christian perspective, like New Babylon will be the greatest city, like the greatest, in a sense, mega city of its time, and it will be ruled by merchants and kings. Whereas you see the original temple in Judaism and in all Middle Eastern society, it was holy mountain, submitting groves, like passing over the groves. And even Eden, there is a theory that it was like this, like a holy mountain, and around there was a grove, and it was like an enclosure.
Yeah.
The reverse of it, that it was after the fall, it was the sense of the wilderness, like the non-human area that is dangerous outside the city, outside the known. But in a sense, that was once a place that was also inside, but they lost touch with nature.
Yeah.
And by losing touch with nature and feeling the sense of danger, they wanted to make the city, and what is outside the city is dangerous. You see it even in Old Norse mythology, like there is all these enclosures, Asgard, and you see Midgard, like the middle enclosure, the enclosure of the gods. All these big structures that are very organized are like gardens, and they have walls. The human enclosure has, by the way, a natural enclosure around it. Kind of natural, that it is a serpent, the Yomugran serpent, and God built walls around their enclosure. All the other places are called homes. They end in Heimer, like Jotunheimer, that also means the world of giants, the world of Vanir, the world of elves. And it is interesting.
Yes. Mm. In a way, they were already space traveling with those shrines, right?
In a sense, yes.
Mm. It's an interesting concept.
Yeah, spiritually, you know, I think astral projection is a thing, but I still think people are always going to want to actually set foot on another world and build something there, or form some kind of relationship with other life out there in space. It's just the next thing, you know. The more we become aware of things and what we're in, like, oh, we're not just on a planet, we're in a solar system orbiting around this star with all these other planets orbiting around us. And then each point of light out there is the same thing. Like, there's like at least 10 other planets circling around each of those stars, or, you know, God knows how many more or less. You gotta wonder, like who else is living out there? Like, what are they doing? What does their music sound like, or what does their food taste like, or what are they doing? What do they believe in? Um, because, you know, we're not so sure of ourselves. And if you had like other people to talk to and like compare notes, I think is where we're at right now. You know, we're just kind of like wondering, what else have people done? You know, is there more than one way to do this? Are you going to run across people that have spaceships, or are you going to run across people that haven't even thought about it ever? You know, just still hanging out around campfires,
I think
like movie Avatar.
I think we have a lot to learn still from just being present and meeting each other in the moment, just like this, or like in person with people. We don't need to go outside to some other planet to find someone who is interesting. We can learn to actually talk with our neighbors. They might be as interesting as aliens would be, because we're also very different. And same with like plants. Every place is different. Every place has unique system going. So there's a lot to still map out also on Earth, I feel, not just in outer space.
Oh yeah, I think so too. But, you know, they're going. You know, they're building these rockets and these warp drives and fusion reactors, and they fully plan on going very soon. You know, as soon as possible. You know, within our lifetimes, we're gonna see it. We're gonna see people like go to another star. Um, or our kids might be involved, or our grandkids might be involved with that type of project. And I wonder, how are we going to balance our approach out? I think we need to balance it. I don't think you're going to be able to stop it. I'm more concerned with like.
Oh, I don't mean to stop it. I just mean that.
Right way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead, Lynn.
Like it's. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mean like to stop it. I just wanted to bring this perspective in too, like that at the same time we need to also be connecting with each other here on planet Earth. Otherwise, no matter what project we have, it's going to be a very detached one.
Actually, this is very interesting. Like the connection of exposure to the unknown, connecting to self-alienation, like humans. And this is not always illogical, this kind of fear. Like babies used to shout a lot to be protected in the wild by the tribe or their mothers and so on. We also have this sense of being aware or alert. But at the same time, we have an expanding self-alienation in our society, and we see that we are proceeding in next steps, and this brings some type of bad evolution, like going to the next step without maturing in where you should be already. And yes, it's like using more high level techniques, but without the psychological and mental background to perform them and to handle them rightly. In many ways, and that's why I think people also become all the more self-alienated, because they fear this exposure. At the same time, they are pressed by the progress, and they are idle at the same time to live, and they fear to see even the other people. And yes, this is a big part also of being in the moment.
And appreciating what is there also. I appreciate all of you here. Thank you for showing up.
Likewise.
And sharing your perspectives.
My pleasure.
Yeah, it's truly enjoyable to talk this way.
Yeah, it's always a good time.
I don't know if this is as common, because it, going by what Anastasios you're saying, people seem to have forgotten how to socialize face to face, and they compensate by socializing digitally, but it becomes a projection of whatever they have suppressed in their daily lives, like a disconnect from the mind, the construct of thought and emotion of each individual, of their own body, like trying to live inside of a dream. And like, I don't know how to say this. It's like the mind cannot express itself without the body, because we are here in the physical world, and we may want to reach out to one another, hug each other, shake hands, feel the vibration of our voices, the smells, the lights. There's something to that, and people have been starving of that connection, like that psycho-emotional connection in their daily lives. It becomes a routine, mechanical, and they forget how to do this, even in interpersonal relationship. Never mind with the ecosystem relationship. And it goes like from within and outwards as an expression. those desires become eventually an habit. Even the desires we suppress or put aside, or the coping mechanism desires, becomes habits to ourselves and to one another. And it's like, I guess that's the line of start in your own home and then go bigger, so it reflects on the bigger home. That is kind of the point where you can connect.
Mm-hmm.
By the
Yep.
way, because I enjoy the company, I will pour some vice beer.
Yeah, nice.
Nice.
I like
Cheers.
to do this. Yes. Actually, I never like to drink alone. Like if I am home alone and I don't talk and such, I like to do other stuff. But when I have company, I like to open something, something to eat, something like it is a small festivity.
Yes.
Hmm.
Crack open the spirits.
Exactly.
There it is.
Mm.
That's super cool.
I enjoy doing this. That's why I buy this beer.
But
It
yeah.
is. It has
I wanted to
different
ask
ways.
Lynn
Yeah.
what that balance would look like for people about to be shot out into space. Like what type of, I suppose, vibe or dynamic would be necessary for them to come from, and what activities or even rituals do you think would help people stuck on a rocket ship going to another star or living really far away from the Earth? Because I guess the way that I'm looking at it, the reason I keep coming back to these points about this and trying to balance with nature is it seems like society goes as fast as it can into these situations, and I guess the more shamanic side of humanity, or the nature people in touch with nature, or the people that understand this balance is necessary, we have to like quickly bolt something to the side of civilization before it crashes, because it keeps crashing. It keeps like screwing up. And I guess I had this fear of like, if we don't fasten something to these rocket ships of all of this madness that we're doing full speed ahead, it's going to crash again. And I wonder if there's any way we could come up with something, or anyway, that's where I'm thinking of it. That's the direction I'm coming from on that. But I'd like to hear your thoughts on what you think about that there,
I
Lynn.
feel it too. I feel this too, like the burden of duty. So it is a duty also to be in connection with yourself and the world.
Mm-hmm.
And like there is a karma of the universe. Like our actions affect our environment and this escalates. Nothing, everything we go has a heaviness to it. That's why we should mature also before going to other steps. This is also in the timing. Like imagine you have a child and you do all the unnecessary things. That the very necessary thing when you have a child is to mature with it and have real genuine connection with it. And you try to take it all the time to special schools, to special activities, to say, I'm doing it for your future, I'm doing it for your future. And in the end, there is a space, a vacuum between each other. Like there is not a mature evolution.
But yeah, but yeah, Maybe I wanna, Lynn,
Yeah,
maybe give you the.
I have something to maybe add to this about.
Okay, go ahead.
I think like that we need to have this connection. Not well. That's like a connection to. We need to have a connection to our wholeness in a way. It's like I love that there's like these intellectual pursuits and these adventurers that are going out and finding out things. But then like we need to also bring in that emotional intelligence and that's like listening to our body, listening to our feelings, and really learning how they speak to us about our experiences, because that's like important data too. It's like there's not just the intellectual data, there's emotional information that we need to also consider in everything. And then of course the spiritual dimension, which is like maybe difficult to approach if you haven't before, but I think that is something that can help us mature, because it brings in like those bigger picture ways of thinking.
Yeah. In a way, I guess maybe that's kind of linked to it as well, like the need for this. I guess I guess you could call it like spiritual maturation in a way, then to work on that, but also at the same time to, I guess, like build this connection back to nature, and to try to I guess create a space for nature to do its thing, and to, but in the meantime, I would also say, I guess, give back repair, because I mean it's very much needed too.
What do you think some of these rituals would look like, or what would be involved, or would they be rituals? Like what what do you think it would take to maintain those connections, or recreate them?
I think like people need to, I guess there needs to be spaces where we can come together. Like we said, one thing would be those public gathering spaces. But like also like with regard to the rituals of like maturation, or like such type of rituals, from what I've read about it, it seems like it was like about bringing the peer group together, so that they could spend time together, get to know each other, and have that kind of mutual support. But then also like for them to experience those more like set apart areas of nature, and then there connect to their own instincts by dancing together and things like this, or like having a good jam, yeah, like with drums or some other instruments playing and things like this. It seems to help us to connect to our instincts and our life force in a way that then connects us more with nature too. Because we tend to be up in our head a bit too much.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know if people that have crops or do farming in a big scale, like industrial scale, actually have a mindset of not even dancing or gathering with their co-workers or something like that. Just the mindset of the importance of what they're doing. I feel like the ritualistic part is being lost through time, and the meaning behind it is put aside from it. It's about satisfying the physical and the economical need in order to sustain yourself in a society
Yeah.
as a whole. Or even now, I don't know if we grow our own farm animals, and now we hunt just for a sport in a bigger scale. And if that scale is gonna to be uh, homogeneous as a whole, all all places in our home world will be homogeneous in a bigger scale. The meaning of those rituals will be lost through time because there will be less and less people to pass the meaning of those actions to the next generation. And even if we look at it in the past, like, oh, in ancient times they used to do this really funky stuff, and it have this purpose. It was, oh yeah, that's a nice story. Okay, let's go to McDonald's, dude. I am hungry, or something. Um, um, it's it becomes superficial, but even just the mindset of the importance of what you're
Yeah.
doing, no matter if it's a small or industrial scale of what you're doing, the mindset is personal and is not always learned on your own. Someone must have taught you this this the symbolic in meaning, the symbolic purpose of your actions. For example, even the ritual of saying thanks before each meal is that you're thankful not to be able to eat. You're thankful to the source of what will be nourishing you, for example. And you try to tell this to your kids, and they will see, come on, I'm just hungry, man. Can we just skip thanks or something? Uh, Things like that. But just you have, for example, here's the thing: how the thought and emotion is something within, but if that is lacking, you can inspire it through your body. Like when you dance, you release uh, um, endorphins, right? Dopamine, and and your body feels good when you dance. When you dance in a group, you start to move
Yeah.
all together. Try like the sharing the rhythm, letting the music get inside of you in the mass in the group, and then it connects through your movement into your conscious thought, but you don't realize it what you're doing. You're celebrating a moment. It's in a party, an event. It doesn't have to be something even special. You just celebrate that moment there in the now, but you don't have to rationalize it. You just feel it from outside to inside. And I guess that's a way to connect. So these rituals still have a meaning. It won't be religious, I believe. Maybe the concept of religion and technocracy will intertwine at some point in the future, but it must connect to the importance that you are yourself and you are part of the world outside of yourself. There is no need for confrontation. Like the self doesn't need to confront the outside world. It can be in a relationship.
I don't know. It kind of reminds me. Just one quick thing. It just reminds me too about like with the farming though, like how the farmers used to have all these rituals too. Like to connect to the cycles and to nature. But that's just what I wanted to add to it. But go ahead, Lynn, or anyone else.
Yeah, I wanted to add about like that. Yeah, we can be individuals, but at the same time be part of a community. It's like they don't exclude each other. It's like we don't have to be so competitive. I guess that's like maybe a sign then of immaturity in a way, or can be. It's like if we're just very much just competing instead of working together and forming like diverse groups that can achieve things that we couldn't do alone. And that's really, I feel like, what nature does too. It's like it's not just one type of life form, it's a whole bunch of different ones, and that's what makes it so resilient.
Actually, to relate and to compete, they are two, and to have gratitude. They are interesting words. Like I am grateful, and even the word grace. Like I have a sense of grace. Sometimes we consider grace as being an eminence of quality of the person, but it is the same quality as being grateful.